I've noticed a pretty fun trend that's gone all the way across science fiction in film over the last year, where they've actually made all these representation characters into villainous characters. And I think it was a total accident on their part, but what it's done is actually shown the LGBTQ community to be a bunch of narcissistic, crazy people, a bunch of evil villains who do insane things, which kind of tracks for, the mental illness that they're trying to project as normal on people. It's very interesting to see this. I really became apparent with Doctor Who here, but there's 3 examples of this. Like I said, Doctor Who, Star Trek, and Star Wars, in which this is a trend. And it's really interesting to me because Hollywood is accidentally shooting themselves in the foot with their own DEI agenda. And we're going to get into the analysis of this right here. My name is John Delarose, everybody. I am a #1 best-selling science fiction author, and I have a great Kickstarter live right now called The Hidden Emperor. Much like these situations, the Emperor has been replaced by a clone who's making bad decisions, destroying the Terran Imperium and causing trouble for humanity. That clone is the issue here, and the real Emperor is out there and needs to be brought back into the fold to, of course, make things better. Special Agent Ayla Rin is tasked with this, and it's a lot of fun. And you could see the themes of that replacement being a problem that I subtly wove into there. If you like action and adventure, good stuff from like the old science fiction, classic Star Wars, classic Star Trek, you're absolutely going to love this. Come support our channel, guys. We got 286 backers. I really want to get to 300 as soon as possible here and back this today on Kickstarter. Wonderful stuff for you. All right. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. And please hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy our content, because I want to get into this sort of in-depth analysis of the writing here. So Russell T Davies, of course, wrote Jinx Monsoon, the trans activist, burlesque dancer, whatever, in mind to create this character, the Maestro, for this weird episode where this like crazy person is stealing music and trying to steal the joy of music and gobble it all up. It was nonsensical, and of course ended with some weird gay dancing from Nikuti Gatwa. But the character is a narcissistic evil villain who does want to just destroy things and is nothing but pure evil. And it's very interesting that you present the trans actor as that rather than a beautiful woman, as they try to gaslight you into thinking it is. It's because a lot of these people, let's just be honest, like they don't look anything but weird and evil. So what are you going to do in the casting and that sort of? You're going to have to cast them as something weird and evil and like something demonic based as it is. And I really do think that's what's going on. I think there's a lot of like demonic activity trying to harm human souls. These people definitely need our prayers and our help more than anything. They don't need to be validated and told that they're doing something great here. It's quite the opposite. Like the character is so like involved in themselves, only cares about their own enjoyment, only cares about their own pleasure, that it's really the opposite of probably what Russell T. Davies tried to shoehorn into this as a message. If you listen to Russell T. Davies' interviews, he's always going on. He actually said at San Diego Comic-Con, went mask off, and said he didn't even care about Doctor Who and the plot and what audiences thought of the show. He just only cares about, quote, trans rights. Well, if the trans people are the villains and they're really crazy and problems, is that really what you're presenting with your episode? Very interesting. It's like they can't help but kind of tell the truth in what they're doing, and kind of tell the truth that like what's happening is evil. Now, this wouldn't just be a story if it was just a one-off. I mean, it kind of is, but it's a trend, like I said, and you see this across science fiction, which is really the only place they can present this kind of thing, because in real life, you see these people and you just run for the hills. Star Trek actually did this a year earlier. And a lot of people didn't notice this because there's not a lot of Star Trek talk out there compared to Doctor Who. But they actually put in a trans character into Strange New Worlds in the first season. Now, in this season, this character Jesse James Keitel, I guess is the dude's name. Of course, is a man pretending to be a woman, just like everything else. As a non-binary character, please clap. And they brought this person in there. And they claimed they didn't know what the episode was about at this point. A trans woman will appear in this episode of the first season, currently streaming on Paramount Plus, Keitel will play Dr. Aspen, who once worked as a Starfleet counselor whose experiences on the Federation border prompted them to shift careers and work as a humanitarian aid worker. During the episode, which was directed by trans filmmaker Sidney Freeland, Dr. Aspen will have a surprising connection with Spock. Oh, how nice. The casting is recent efforts to expand LGBTQ representation on Star Trek. Discovery's, of course, had a bunch of gays and pronoun lectures and non-binary crap, which was really obnoxious. But this one, again, subverted everything. It turned out that the plot of this episode, which is not mentioned in any of the articles praising the diversity of casting, Dr. Aspen was replaced by a weird space pirate pretending to be Dr. Aspen. It's kind of a weird commentary on how this is a dude pretending to be a woman. I mean, if you want to look at it, you go, huh. And of course, just like Jinx Monsoon's character in Doctor Who, the whole episode had this space pirate being a crazy narcissist, only out for their own pleasure, only out for their own gain, damn everybody else. And that's exactly kind of what this trans agenda is, isn't it? It's very odd how the themes of these episodes are almost exactly the same, with exactly the same villainous people, exactly the same sort of, quote, representation casting by dudes pretending to be women, and then they just look like evil because, you know, they kind of just look evil. It just is what it is. You're not supposed to notice this, but this is exactly what's going down. Again, Star Trek accidentally made the trans into the villain. And Star Wars, of course, did the exact same thing. I mean, this is them.us. Oh, joy. With the lesbian space witches in Star Wars: The Acolyte, we have these crazy space witches who are out there on their own. They're fumbling with weird dark side magic. They end up kind of offing themselves in some weird death cult ritual, which is kind of what the LGBT community and all that is in reality and in Hollywood is as it is. You can see that Leslie Headland's entire situation with this and what she did with this was presenting the Sith as a stand-in for the LGBTQ community. Again, if you listen to the way that the Sith guy rants at the Jedi, saying he's like exploring his own power, he's not afraid of his own dark side, he's free, and they're just bound by their old hokey religion. It's really somebody lashing out at Christians, right, in culture, and using their cultural prowess in order to just push this agenda again. So we have these weird lesbian space witches throughout the entire thing. They're also kind of, a bad group. They have their weird culty rituals. They end up in this mass Minecrafting of themselves situation. And of course, they also cast a weird trans activist as one of these lesbian space witches, Abigail Thorne. So you have the exact same casting choices, the exact same attempts at diversity as we saw within Star Trek and in Doctor Who. And what happens is, again, they're not really heroes. They're not good people. They are strange weirdos grooming two young girls. They say this is important for casting for diversity. How nice. How wonderful. What a nuanced approach to representation. This is how they call it these days. They're going to call it a nuanced approach to representation. But with these three, you see the three major films and TV franchises in science fiction actually casting the LGBTQ community as something evil, as something narcissistic, as something that you should not strive to want to be. The heroes have to fight them. The Doctor has to stop the Maestro and contain the Maestro and make sure the Maestro is purged from our reality. The cast of Star Trek has to go out there and and try to remove this space pirate pretending to be a woman, right? And then in Star Wars, the Jedi are out there and they're trying to rescue the young girls from the situation. Of course, they're presented as bad too because it's just what an atrocious writing. But at the end of the day, all the lesbian space witch coven and all that die of their own volition and die of their own hubris. That's what we have between these three franchises. And so I found this pretty interesting as a topic to see that all of the major science fiction franchises are all presenting the exact same narrative and the exact same thing in attempting to make something out of their whole culture and try to make this push for everybody to accept this stuff. And they failed drastically on all of it. Isn't this wild? You would never expect it, but it's gone so far woke that they almost circled around to be based again. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. I love analyzing stuff like this because, as a professional author, You don't get to do a lot of deep dives on YouTube, but it is some fun today on a weekend. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here, and make sure to back the Hidden Emperor sci-fi graphic novel for great heroist science fiction. You'll love this, and thank you guys so much for the support so far. It's been incredible.